From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
Some Ekiti residents that spoke to Trust TV revealed that this was one of the best elections conducted in the state. Several international observers that spoke to Trust TV also commended the role played by INEC and the security agencies in the just concluded Ekiti governorship election.
Elections and make sure it's a free, fair, transparent, credible process.
The most important thing here now is that your vote, as long as the BVAS is concerned, your vote counts. The era of writing results, changing figures along the line, now if we have overcome that, we're making progress. Going forward, if it's the case of vote buying, everything, there's no problem that don't have a solution.
The very thing we expect from the outcome of this election is we knew with the number of votes that the people has massively voted. We believe the outcome will be for a victory of a certain party.
The election is free and peaceful to my best of understanding. Everything is going peacefully. But the only issue we had here since morning, we have about 2,600 voters here. But fortunately, the INEC, the staff, they were not enough to cover this place.
All right, now for more on the Ekiti election, we have on ground in Ekiti State, Trust TV reporter Kabiru Lawal, who will fill us in on the election process and how it's unfolding. Kabiru.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening. The voting process is over, so what's next now?
Yes, the only thing remaining now is just the counting, and I'm talking to you right now. It's raining cat and dog right here. So the INEC people have to pause it because they want the to be within the electorate that have come out en masse to vote for their rightful candidate. So any moment from now, they are going to start the counting. Maybe in 30 minutes time, they are setting up. We have set up our things too, just to see how the counting goes down.
Okay, so from the votes already counted, are there any early indicators of where the votes will swing? Which party is currently in the lead?
Well, right now we have in the 16 local government area we have in the Ekiti State. I think APC is taking the lead because in Bada local government area, the electorate there are over 2,000. So when we went to Ifelodun, they are over 2,000 too. And APC right now, I think they are leading. Then the party trailing them is the Social Democratic Party, the SDP.
Okay. Well, analysts had actually predicted a very close election. So do the early results trickling in support this theory?
Well, the theory actually is not far-fetched from what we are seeing right now because even the INEC officials, when we had a tete-a-tete with them before the setup, they were telling us that yes, this would be a very close thing because it's like the APC have the main contenders followed by the SDP. So I think they told us that, well, APC could later emerge the winner because the core contenders are just in the APC.
All right. So regarding the conduct of the election, how peaceful was it actually? Because we've heard reports that it was actually peaceful, but are there any reports of election malpractices elsewhere?
Well, the election has been peaceful with the presence of the security agencies, especially the police and the vigilante group. For the electioneering voting, I think, yes, it happened in 2 polling units, but they had to take it up because they arrested those people that actually caused mayhem during the election process. Maybe one wanted snatching the election bus and took it away, but he was apprehended and they took him inside the car, so they went home with him. They went to the police custody with him. The second one we witnessed was another one that was trying to buy votes. He was urging people to like vote for me and I will give you money. And when they saw him, they picked him up, and before we got there, we had that he's in the police custody. So I think so far so good. The election has been free and fair.
All right. Well, we've been getting some allegations, just like you've alluded to right now, of vote buying, and some people actually claim to have witnessed such. Did you witness any other case of vote buying allegations?
No, aside those two polling units, I just have mentioned now. I think there's nothing like the only place we had was Bada local government area when they had over 2,000 voters. So most of them wanted to come there to cause mayhem, but with the presence of the police, when one was took into the police station, I think they all dispersed and the election continues heat-free.
All right. Well, thank you very much there, Kabiru, and good job. So we had Kabiru Lawal there, our reporter on ground, to cover the Ekiti elections, and we will bring you more details as they unfold concerning that particular process. Well, still talking about the Ekiti election, the Ekiti State Governor, Kayode Fayemi, has described the ongoing Ekiti governorship election as peaceful so far. He also expressed optimism that his party, the All Progressives Congress, APC, will emerge victorious at the end of the exercise. The governor stated this when he cast his vote at polling unit 009 in front of Apata's house, Oye local government area of the state. The governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress APC in the Ekiti state, Abiodun Abayomi Oyebanji, after casting his vote at polling unit 3 of Ward 6 in Ikobosi local government area, expressed satisfaction with the conduct of the election. Oyebanji, who expressed confidence that he will emerge victorious at the end of the exercise, counseled the electorate to vote a candidate that will secure their future with the right policies.
I came in to vote early, and I don't want to pass a complete and final judgment on my assessment so far. But going by my own personal experience at the polling unit, at my polling unit in Ogilolo, Ishon Ekiti, it's a pretty smooth exercise. People are calm. They are all queued up to vote. The officers were dutiful, and the beavers worked in my verification and accreditation exercise. So if everything goes this way, INEC would have been given a pass mark at the end of the day. But as I said, it is very early days. We cannot pass a judgment yet on what INEC has done. Well, my PVC was still recognized, and this is the PVC I've been using since the very beginning of this process. One thing that has changed here is that and I think this will save us time. You know, we used to come first to do accreditation between 8 and 12 noon for everybody to do their accreditation, and then you go back and come back to vote. That process is now seamless. Accreditation is done simultaneously with voting, and I think that will save us time. It will probably increase turnout as well, because the period spent by each voter has reduced if beavers worked.
It's victory. We have worked so hard, and we believe that we should be victorious. All things being equal. They should see the link between voting rightly and their future, because you vote today and elect a government that will take decisions concerning your future. So we should take it seriously. But be that as it may, it's always important for INEC to embark on voter sensitization. I'm not sure they're doing enough in that respect. They should spend more time on sensitization. The way they prepare for election, they should take sensitization like that. I'm not sure they are doing enough when it comes to sensitization. The political parties, they are trying their best, but INEC has a duty also to sensitize the people.
And still on the Ekiti election, the campaign for equal voting access for persons with disabilities, a program of the Center for Citizens with Disabilities, has said that its observers witnessed massive vote buying and selling in the ongoing Ekiti election. According to its preliminary statement, the group stated that while partaking of the polls, it observed with massive vote buying and selling, particularly in polling unit 001, Ward 10 of Ifedolu local government area, polling unit 002 at Odoi, Oyedun 1, Bonyi local government area, and polling unit 39, Ward 11, Ado Ekiti local government. In the communique signed by David Anayele, the chairman, Campaign for Equal Voting Access, said it is impressed to observe that marginalized population, the aged, nursing mothers and pregnant women, and persons with disabilities were offered priority voting in most of the polling units observed. INEC was also praised for the conduct of the election, even as it was observed that voters turned out in their large numbers at their polling units as early as 8 a.m. Meanwhile, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC has arrested some persons alleged to have engaged in vote buying in the Ekiti governorship election. The EFCC is part of security agencies deployed to monitor the election. Parading some of the suspects at the Okeoriomi area division of the Nigeria police, the suspects were said to have been caught with monies allegedly used to induce voters, an act the EFCC officials say was carried out surreptitiously. The FCC thereafter proceeded to burst another residence where some persons were caught with a book containing details of voters of a certain voting area. Still talking politics, the presidential aspirant of the New Nigeria People's Party, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, has revealed that his camp is in talks with Peter Obi and members of the Labour Party over a possible alliance. There have been speculation of a third force to challenge the APC-PDP duopoly, and Kwankwaso and Obi are reportedly exploring the possibility of creating an alliance in the 2023 elections. Speaking in an interview on BBC Hausa, the former governor of Kano State said family and well-wishers were optimistic about the Grand Alliance. According to Kwankwaso, merging with the Labour Party is very significant at this crucial moment, especially looking at the fact that both PDP and APC presidential candidates did not pick their running mates from the southeast. Similarly, the official handle of the NNPP confirmed to the discussion between both parties on Saturday via its Twitter handle. The tweet read, "We wish to inform Nigerians our discussions with Peter Obi and the Labour Party are still ongoing. The special committee was set up to discuss arrangements. We hope for good results that will give Nigeria a chance to be alive once again." The presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu, has described President Muhammadu Buhari as a true leader, brother and friend who demonstrated a sense of purpose, composure and maturity in the weeks leading to the special convention of the party. Spokesman for the president, Femi Adesina, in a statement on Saturday disclosed that Tinubu's compliments were contained in a letter personally signed by the APC chieftain. Tinubu expressed gratitude for the president's congratulatory letter to him, adding that while all contestants expected President Buhari to choose his successor, he simply allowed a level playing ground. He congratulated the president for the successful conclusion of the convention and assured him of an issue-focused campaign leading to the 2023 general elections. The Senate President, Ahmed Lawan, has described as false and mischievous a video on social media purportedly announcing his defection from the ruling party to the opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP. Lawan, in a statement by his SA media, Ola Awoni, said the original video clip, which was mischievously edited to 26 seconds, is a 3-minute, 30-second clip of the Senate President reading the letter Senator Muhammad Adamu Aliru of Kebbi State wrote informing his Senate colleagues at plenary of his defection from the APC to the PDP over issues in the state chapter of the APC. According to Awani, the letter was one of the correspondences the Senate President read at the commencement of the resumed session on Tuesday, noting that it was the video clip of the Senate President reading out Senator Aliru's letter that was doctored to give the wrong impression that the Senate President has renounced his membership of the APC. He maintained that Senator Ahmed Lawan remained a committed member of the APC who has no reason to renounce his membership of the party, and enjoined members of the public to discountenance the video in reference as it is the handwork of mischief makers. And the Kwara State chapter of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has unveiled a former House of Representatives member, Benga Makonjola, as its deputy governorship candidate in the 2023 governorship election. The governorship candidate of the party, Shuaib Abdullah, while unveiling his running mate, assured of the readiness of the party to clinch power in next year's election. The report.
The state chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Babatunde Mohammed, thanks members for accepting the consensus agreement that produced most of the candidates for all offices.
We thank Almighty God that even those people that lost at the primary level are now working with those candidates that we might. So we thank God that in Kwara State, PDP is a single big family in Kwara State. We don't have any crisis. There is not a factional problem in Kwara State. We don't have any court issues after the primary elections.
The governorship candidate, Shuaib Abdullahi, before unveiling the deputy governorship candidate, said the party will address the hardship and economic woes the APC-controlled government at the state and federal level brought upon Nigerians.
104 billion naira is standing to the debit of Kwara State government. Today, this present administration, in just 3 years, has increased the debt portfolio of the state by over 100% in just 3 years, and nothing to show for it.
The man of the moment, Bengama Konjola, who was a member of the House of Representatives, assured of his readiness to work for the victory of the parties at the polls.
To all fellow party faithfuls, I want to especially thank those who have shown interest in this particular position. This is the will of God. It's not by power, it's not by might. But I believe what is happening today is by the mercy of Almighty.
The event also featured the presentation of certificates of return to the party's House of Assembly, House of Representatives and senatorial candidates.
Governor Bello Matawalle of Zamfara has declared Monday, June 20th to Friday, 24th, a work-free week to enable the state public and civil servants to register and obtain their permanent voter cards. This was disclosed in a communique on Saturday signed by the Commissioner for Information, Ibrahim Magaji Dosara, where he announced the coming week as free days to begin the registration process. The letter also directed government officials to see to a seamless process of the exercise. You're watching Trust TV News Hour. Still to come on the news. Traders lament alleged IPOB attacks on members. Details of this and more after the break. Do stay with us.
Times have passed, and with it so many things that once were our visual delights. Technological advancement has brought about tremendous changes in the way and manner media deliver content to its audience.
As it continues to reposition itself to serve you much better, Media Trust Limited is rebranding its logo and visual identity to reflect our current vision and futuristic drive.
We have spread our tentacles beyond the pages of the newspaper to the digital space. The new logos and visual identities reflect the new scope of our multimedia reach.
Even with this development, however, we will continue to remain with you as we have always remained, committed to our founding philosophy, which is based on trust, integrity, openness, and courage.
The new logo, which is a marriage of a revolving globe and a mobile device, signifies the unlimited reach of our content on the digital space.
We are always the backbone of operations as we do our best to deliver content that suits your needs.
When you see a new trust title or platform in the next few days, therefore, do not be alarmed.
We remain committed to you and will continue to serve you through fair and responsible journalism.
Every patriotic Nigerian should hear this. Any politician who means well for the people will never allow themselves or their supporters to engage in any violent, destructive activities. No politician who truly wants to serve the people and develop the nation will encourage his followers to destroy properties or take human lives before, during, or after the elections. The Nigerian public must watch out for these traits and isolate any politician who encourages supporters to engage in violence. No genuine politician or patriot will cause trouble and seek to destroy the very society which they aspire to lead or develop. Politicians who have the good of the people at heart will not allow themselves or their followers to engage in violence, destruction of properties, and then taking of lives. Be vigilant. By their words you shall know them. Shun violence. Stay away from politicians who want you to do so. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NORA.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Hour. Now another look at our top stories. Results trickling in as voting ends in Ekiti State. And Labour Party and NNPP in merger talks ahead of 2023 election. And moving on to other news now. Zamfara State Governor Bello Muhammad has charged this year's intending pilgrims from the state to pray for the restoration of peace in all parts of the state and Nigeria. The governor gave the charge while bidding farewell to 1,303 intending pilgrims from the state who will perform this year's Hajj in the Holy Land. The governor, in a statement by his press secretary, Jamilu Ilyasu, said the government has provided all necessary assistance in terms of logistics and support to the intending pilgrims for them to perform Hajj exercise with relative ease. The state's First Lady, Aisha Bello, while congratulating the intending pilgrims for the opportunity, enjoined them, especially the women, to be of good conduct throughout the exercise. Earlier, the leader of the state government delegation to this year's Hajj and Speaker of the Zamfara State House of Assembly, Nasiru Mu'azu, said his committee has concluded all necessary arrangements for the airlift of the state intending pilgrims to Saudi Arabia. And the Hajj 2022 Hajj pilgrims from Kaduna State have been warned against unnecessary travels or mingling with people in hospitals in order to guard against contracting the monkeypox disease. The chairman of the Kaduna State Hajj medical team, Dr. Abdul Rashid Ibrahim, said the Saudi embassy has mandated all pilgrims from Nigeria to be screened for the disease. Lami Sadiq reports.
According to the chairman of the Kaduna State Hajj medical team, Dr. Abdul Rashid Ibrahim, pilgrims with specific symptoms will be directed to the Public Health Department, and those confirmed positive will be isolated.
If pilgrims have specific symptoms of monkeypox, we have to invite the Public Health Department of Kaduna State Ministry of Health. If at the end of the day he is confirmed positive, so he may not be allowed to go for Hajj, or he may be kept or isolated.
The head of ICT of the state's Pilgrims Welfare Agency, Abubakar Usman, says about 2,000 visas for the state's 2,491 intending pilgrims have been issued.
Close to 2,000 visas at hand, and you know we are a state of 2,400 and something pilgrims. So having close to 2,000, I think we have gone really very far.
He assured that adequate security has been beefed around the Kaduna International Airport. He then advised intending pilgrims to abide by the rules and urged them to be good ambassadors while in the Holy Land. Lami Sadiq for Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Now, activities of the outlawed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, are posing a danger and threat to cattle traders in Nigeria. The cattle traders from Taraba State who travel south revealed that most of their kinsmen were killed and property worth millions destroyed. In this exclusive interview with traders at the Telle International Market in Taraba State, it was reported that cattle traders are on the verge of losing their means of livelihood if the government fails to address the menace. The report.
In February 2022, it was reported that
Gunmen suspected to be members of the IPOB attacked a cattle market in southeast Nigeria, killing 8 traders and 51 cows. The intra-regional trade by northern and southern traders has been affected by the activities of the separatist group. Tela International Cattle Market in Gasol, Taraba State attracts buyers from all over Nigeria and neighboring Cameroon who come to the market to make purchases at affordable prices. The chairman of the market, Aboki Musa, told Trust TV that more than 3,000 cattle are sold to cattle markets from different parts of the country, including Southeast.
I am the second tailor of this market in the town of Tela. The market only runs on Sunday every market day. We have about 5,000 cattle. The problem faced in this market is insecurity. Government should provide adequate security apparatus. These markets equally generate revenue and it is sent to the government's treasury. It is important that the government provide the needed infrastructure from the revenue generated.
Tela is the leading cattle market in Taraba State, where cattle from neighboring Cameroon Republic are brought for sale. Adamu Buba, a merchant in the market, pointed out that the activities of the IPOB have crippled the trade and pose serious danger to their lives and property.
I am a trader. I buy and sell cattle. I buy up to 200 cows. I sell here in Taraba and travel to sell in the east. The price of cattle is not fixed. It can be high and low depending on the period. The price range between 500 to 600,000 naira. There is high level of insecurity in Anambra and Enugu for cattle traders. And the slow response by the government in addressing the security threat is affecting our business. Our cattle are killed and vehicles burnt down. And no measures have been put in place to address the threat of our lives and property.
However, experts say the livestock industry in Nigeria could be worth at least 30 billion naira to 50 billion over the next decade if the right structures are put in place.
And still talking security, Nasarawa State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has arrested a vigilante officer over alleged defilement of a 13-year-old girl in the state. Public Relations Officer of the command, Jerry Victor, made this known while parading the suspect in Lafia. The report.
Parading the suspected vigilante officer, Yusuf Dalla, the Public Relations Officer of the Nasarawa State Command of NSCDC, Jerry Victor, said the victim was brought to the vigilante office over alleged theft and rape.
The victim happened to stole some property that belongs to someone and she was arrested. After then, she was taken to the vigilante office opposite PDP Secretariat here in Lafia. Upon interrogation, she has confessed, of course, to the crime. She was still at the custody of the VGN where it was getting dark. So at the process of that, she needs to be kept somewhere for safekeeping so that the interrogation or investigation will continue the next day. It was unfortunate that one of the officers in the office there took her to his house, and at the process, of course, he defiled her.
He said the victim reported the matter to her elder brother, who later informed the NSCDC, which swung into action and arrested the suspect. The PRO, who affirmed that the suspect would be charged to court after investigation, called on parents to always monitor the movement of their children to prevent them from falling victims of such acts.
There are different kinds of people on the street, and they would like to take advantage of these young girls that are coming up. So my advice to parents and guardians is to make sure they supervise or they monitor the movement of their children, especially the female ones. So because they need more care, sometimes more than their male counterpart.
The suspect, Yusuf Dalla, who denied committing the alleged offense, said investigations will set him free, while the victim, Kulthum Musa, insisted she was raped by the suspect.
I didn't commit the alleged offense. She was brought to our office over alleged theft, and the next day I just heard that I raped her. I don't argue with authorities, but I know I will be free after investigation.
Yes, he's the one that raped me. Even at the time my other brother came, he placed shocking device on me, threatening me not to tell my brother. And after that, I went and informed my stepmother.
It is expected that at the close of the investigation, the truth will be revealed.
The ongoing strike action by Academic Staff Union of Universities has been described as unnecessary, as it could lead to irreparable damage. The Registrar Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board JAMB, Professor Ishak Oloyede, said this at a function in Ilorin. The JAMB Registrar, who said incessant strikes by unions in the nation's tertiary institutions was capable of causing irreparable damage, not only the students, but also the nation at large. He urged both the government and the unions to find ways of putting an end to the strike action.
Acknowledging the fact that the primary responsibility of reasonable funding, even if it is not adequate, of public and educational institutions lies on the proprietors, the government who established the institution and literally abdicated their responsibility. May I seize this opportunity to call on university-based labor unions to appreciate the irreparable damage of incessant strike on not just the students, but also on our nation, and therefore stop this unnecessary strike.
Now to health matters, where sickle cell children in Nigeria are believed to suffer stroke and other complicated health issues due to poor management of the disease. A group known as Sickle Cell Warriors in Kaduna disclosed this at the celebration of the 2022 World Sickle Cell Day. It called for the establishment of sickle cell emergency centers in Nigeria to cater for sickle cell patients. The report.
Sickle cell anemia is a disease that affects not only patients, but the psychological and socio-economic and well-being of the family because of the challenges that come with the management of the disease. Joining the rest of the world in marking the day, the Sickle Cell Warriors in Kaduna reflected on the challenges associated with the health status of victims. Gloria Bahago is a nurse and sickle cell warrior. She says apart from adults, children also suffer many complications, including stroke, due to poor management of the disease.
They could have blindness, that's retinopathy. They could have chest syndrome, acute chest syndrome. We have quite a number of children that have had stroke due to poor management, and most of them that have had stroke actually don't access care.
As a sickle cell warrior, you can have virtually any organ failure. It is a complication. And once things like that happen, the only excuse they give you at the hospital is it's because you're a sickle cell warrior. That is the most painful part of it.
While Eitayo Oladejo harps on the need to establish sickle cell emergency centers in Nigeria to support the patients, Gloria Bahago says lack of adherence to routine medical checkup and lack of awareness on the side of the patients is a setback to the fight against the disease.
Nigeria has the biggest case of sickle cell anemia in the world, and it's not something to be proud of. It only tells the outside community that we are not listening. We have sickle cell emergency centers. It's something that we really need in Nigeria.
Some of the challenges we face is from the patients is lack of adherence. Some of them actually don't keep to their appointments. Secondly, there is no awareness.
Once people know their genotype and there's great awareness, then they will prevent people of such genotypic ratio from getting intermarried.
The theme of the World Sickle Cell Day 2022 is Shine the Light on the Sickle Cell.
You're still watching Trust TV News Hour. The news continues shortly. Stay with us.
Daily, we bring you updates around politics,
People like you who are very young, you have no future. Anybody now who is 30 years, if what is happening today continues, by the time you are 60, you will have no country.
The DPO of a particular unit does not have to wait until the commissioner tells him what to do within his jurisdiction.
We have political parties on the ground. Some of them have been there for years. But they themselves, in their own sober moments, they know that this country is not the one they're expecting to run.
Policy and governance.
Are you saying the NBS is lying?
I'm saying to you very clearly that the NBS has a serious problem with accurate data till today.
The 5th Assembly, as well as the 7th Assembly, their own attempts were unproductive.
Emergence of the Taliban has simply emboldened terror groups globally.
There is a lot of attention with regards to security developments in Nigeria.
On Daily Politics, we interrogate issues, holding the actors to account, bearing in mind all the sides.
We heard that in some places now, people have to go and pay tax, not to the local government, not to the state, but to criminals.
Nobody can come to your house and kidnap you without information.
If this country is bleeding, it is bleeding because we have failed to educate our young.
Every patriotic Nigerian should hear this. Any politician who means well for the people will never allow themselves or their supporters to engage in any violent, destructive activities. No politician who truly wants to serve the people and develop the nation will encourage his followers to destroy properties or take human lives before, during, or after the elections. The Nigerian public must watch out for these traits and isolate any politician who encourages supporters to engage in violence. No genuine politician or patriot will cause trouble and seek to destroy the very society which they aspire to lead or develop. Politicians who have the good of the people at heart will not allow themselves or their followers to engage in violence, destruction of properties, and then taking of lives. Be vigilant. By their words you shall know them. Shun violence. Stay away from politicians who want you to do so. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NOAA.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Hour. Now to the environment, where desertification is a global phenomenon with serious implications on biodiversity and eco-safety. The degradation of farmlands brought about by desert encroachment can have a devastating impact on people, livestock, and the environment. In Katsina State, northwest Nigeria, manifestations of desertification, especially among local governments bordering Niger Republic, are so glaring. Abdullahi Yamadi tells us more.
As the world observes the day to combat desertification and drought, the focus is on transforming degraded lands into healthy lands to increase economic resilience. However, the celebration in Katsina State was marred by non-participation of state actors. Dry wind, harsh weather conditions, occasional drought, and decline in agricultural output are some of the factors that continue to threaten the existence of people and livestock. It is especially obvious in desertification-prone states like Katsina, and experts argue that the only remedy is massive and sustainable tree planting exercise. However, in spite of the dangers associated with desertification and the position of Katsina as one of the frontline states, only one non-government actor observed the day in Katsina State.
The vision of the association is to cover the nation at large on awareness. The nation should be aware on that there is a lot of climate change challenges in Nigeria, and those climate challenges need to be addressed in order to save the world from that climate change that is facing the world.
Beyond that, the choice of Keita local government for the annual exercise is a wise decision considering the huge losses suffered in the area because of desert encroachment.
They light us and also they planted many trees in order to protect our environment from the getting of desertification and the drought.
This local association that has been championing this one rose task is hopeful that one day all the actors and other stakeholders will see the wisdom behind the massive tree planting and need for the active participation of all.
Let everybody contribute, even one plant. Plant a single plant in your locality or in your house or in your farm, whatever that you know you can maintain. Plant it, maintain it, you contribute to the development of the environment globally.
Besides, there is also the need for awareness against deforestation to be supported by some legislations that will increase the resilience of the people to ensure sustained tree planting exercise. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Kazana.
And still talking environment, Nigeria's commitment for a safer, healthier global climate has not waned. This, according to President Muhammadu Buhari, has been demonstrated by implementation of measures which could by 2030 reduce exposure to air pollution across Nigeria by 22%. Kainde Amadu looks at Nigeria's pledges to climate change conventions by the present administration.
Nigeria talks a good game when it comes to aligning with conversations on climate change. For instance, it has committed itself to elimination of kerosene lighting by 2030, increasing use of buses for public transport, and reduction in burning of crop residues. It remains to be seen how this will be achieved, with cooking gas priced out of the reach of the poor man, cooking by firewood being the preferred option in many communities, and bush burning the preferred option in clearing farms ahead of the farming season. The country's leader has also committed the country to methane reduction targets of at least 45% by 2025 and a 60 to 75% reduction by 2030.
Our plan aims to improve air quality and reduce Nigeria's contribution to climate change through 22 specific mitigation measures in 8 source sectors: transportation, cooking and lighting in household, industry, waste, oil and gas, agriculture, power and hydrofluorocarbon.
This again is a tall task, with Nigeria's heavy dependence on oil to run its economy.
The long-term, low-emissions development strategy provides Nigeria the pathway to carefully assess the opportunities that might arise in terms of a cleaner, more dynamic, and more sustainable growth model. It will also provide the option for the country to implement a less carbon-intensive model of economic development in the face of decreasing global reliance on fossil fuel energy.
Many of these commitments were projections at a virtual meeting hosted by President Joe Biden of the U.S. on Major Economists Forum on Energy and Climate Change. However, keeping up with these commitments and achieving a climate-neutral economy by 2050 will require progressively phasing out or profoundly changing the country's carbon-intensive industries. President Buhari is the first to acknowledge that this will be particularly challenging and will require a well-managed transition. Kainde Amodu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And in business news, as of March 2022, the cost for filling up a 12.5 kg cylinder was 8,500 naira. Today, the same size will cost you 10,000 naira, with some areas selling it at 12,000 naira. As the price of gas in Nigeria continues to rise, it pushes back the federal government's dream of reaching 20 million homes through the National Gas Expansion Program. By implication, it will be difficult to attain the target of increasing the country's liquefied petroleum gas penetration, which the most recent figures estimate currently at 13%. Chamun Dabeng reports.
The cost of liquefied petroleum gas (LPG) has been steadily on the rise, pushing more and more Nigerians to turn to unhealthier options like charcoal and kerosene in order to save money. On the surface, it would seem that the sellers of these products may have struck gold. However, the case is quite the opposite.
Well, the way this market is, I can't compare it to before because this place, the market is not organized. So now the market is somehow. Before you sell up to like 6-10 bags, but this now, to even sell 1 bag is somehow.
My gain from selling 25 liters of kerosene is just 1,250 naira to 1,300 naira because of how difficult it is getting it. Not everyone can afford to sell it in our area. Sometimes I don't sell the 25 liters I buy. Before it gets sold, it will take 2 to 3 days or even a week. And because I have started selling, I just feel it's okay to continue selling so that it will be like an additional income to my business.
One can only imagine the difficulties faced by the gas trader as he struggles to keep his customers and also keep his business afloat.
People are coming, but they are no more longer buying like the way they buy before. Some people do not used to fill up their 12.5 kg. Some used to pull half, some don't, some few liters, some pull half.
There are many reasons as to why the cost of gas continues to increase.
Today, what we are seeing in terms of prices, and this is lamentable, is that not only are we still facing those constraints of storage, of bottlenecks in imports, of limited production because NLNG, again, has issues around gas supply, the input, the stock that they use to produce propane, butane, and LNG. Not only do we have that, but we also now have to contend with an increasing cost of transportation.
Hard times for Nigerians as it seems as though even the alternatives to LPG are also too expensive. Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're still watching News Hour on Trust TV. The news continues shortly. Do stay with us. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Hour. Now, the Chinese embassy in Nigeria has launched the Dog China Festival to showcase the giant strides of China and its war against poverty. The ceremony was held at the China Cultural Center in Abuja. Li Juda, cultural counselor of the embassy, told newsmen that the festival will include the launch of documentaries and other movies to enable the world understand China better. Li disclosed that over 50 of China's global television network, CGTN's best video productions, will be aired to promote the cultural exchange between China and other countries. He said award-winning documentaries would be screened at selected television channels, while the Doc China Festival will kick off with a grand ceremony in Beijing in June and run till the end of the year.
For many years, Nigerian government has also been working hard to lift more ordinary people out of poverty. From what I know, in 2021, Nigerian President Buhari inaugurated the steering committee of the National Poverty Reduction with Growth Strategy to achieve his mission of lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty within a decade. We sincerely hope that the Nigerian government will achieve this goal. More and more Nigerian people can say goodbye to poverty and can live a prosperous life.
Lifting millions of people out of poverty is a thing that almost every African nation must keep it, tell itself that it wants to do. So in this very line, we have to say that it was a very touchy kind of a move. Sincerity of purpose. Because when you have a committed system that you say you're committing yourself to doing something, you don't follow halfway through. We have seen so many projects. We talk about electricity, we talk about food, we talk about agriculture, we talk about water. But we're still saying the same thing, that look, how very, very sincere are you and who follows up? But you see that in the Chinese system, the system has been going on, one person takes over another, and the process is still working at the same. You might have another government tomorrow that will say, okay, what has been happening I don't like, and then it's a fresh start. And you see abandoned projects left, right, and center. They don't have abandoned projects because every project that you start must finish. But then
now for a look at the foreign scene, where Ecuador's President Guillermo Lasso has declared a state of emergency in 3 provinces on Friday in response to violent protests by indigenous people demanding cuts in fuel prices. To ease grassroots anger, Lasso also announced in his address late Friday a small increase in a monthly subsidy paid to Ecuador's poorest, as well as a program to ease the debt of those who have loans from state-run banks. Clashes with security forces during the protests have left at least 43 people injured and 37 people have been arrested. Indigenous people, who make up over 1 million of Ecuador's 17.7 million inhabitants, launched an open-ended anti-government protest on Monday that has since been joined by students, workers and other supporters. And gunmen stormed a Sikh temple in the Afghan capital on Saturday, killing at least 1 member of the community and wounding 7 more. Interior Ministry spokesman Abdul Nafi Thakur said that the attackers threw in at least 1 grenade when they entered the temple, setting off a blaze in the complex. Minutes later, a car bomb was detonated in the area but caused no casualties. 2 attackers were killed in an operation to secure the temple following the raid, he said, with 1 Taliban fighter also killed. The World Health Organization says it has removed the distinction between endemic and non-endemic countries in its data on monkeypox to better unify the response to the virus. Until the past few months, monkeypox had generally been confined to Western and Central Africa, but it's now present in several continents. Between January 1 and June 15th, 2,103 confirmed cases, a probable case and 1 death have been reported to the WHO in 42 countries. The Geneva-based UN Health Agency is due on June 23rd to hold an emergency meeting to determine whether to classify the global monkeypox outbreak as a public health emergency of international concern. The designation is the highest alarm the UN agency can sound. And finally, in sports, former world number 1 Naomi Osaka pulled out of the Wimbledon tournament on Saturday with an Achilles injury. 24-year-old Osaka was already considering not playing over the ATP and WTA Tour's decision to strip Wimbledon of ranking points after the All England club banned Russian and Belarusian players in response to the invasion of Ukraine. The Japanese player first suffered the Achilles problem in her opening match in Madrid in May, the injury forcing her to pull out of the following Italian Open. Osaka's name had appeared on the singles entry list for Wimbledon when it was released last week, but she has not featured in any of the grass court warm-up events. Osaka's withdrawal follows that of former Wimbledon finalist Eugenie Bouchard, who pulled out of the season's third Grand Slam on Friday. Now we'll join Adeni Ajishafe for more sports news.
The Interim Management Committee, IMC, of the Nigerian Basketball Federation has announced the postponement of the Under-18 Basketball Championship from its former dunk-off date of June 15, 2022 to July 27, 2022. Director of Press and Public Relations, Ministry of Youth and Sport Development, Mohamed Manga, says the shift is to afford the Interim Committee, IMC, opportunity to study, restructure the logistics and organizational arrangements for the successful hosting of Under-18 basketball event and to ensure that states are adequately informed and prepared for full participation. Top athletes and outstanding coaches selected from the championships will form the core of the national under-18 teams that will come between 14 to 24 August ahead of subsequent developmental programs aimed at supporting the grassroots development policy for basketball. Meanwhile, the committee will be organizing coaches, referees, match commissioners, and table officials clinics starting from July 3rd to 5th, 2022. The clinic will have special sessions for young coaches and referees expected to play crucial roles in the grassroots development of the game. It will also prepare officials for the Premier League and the Women's League, whose date will soon be announced after due consultation with relevant stakeholders, as well as the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport Development. That's Sport News. I am Adeni Ajishafe.
And before we go, here is a kicker. Quitting his regular job to pursue fashion was a big life reset for Ishmael Tatakata. But the former physiotherapist has no regrets over his Stones of Fire collection featured at the 2021 Paris Fashion Week. Back in his studio, Takata is hard at work again, his ambition building a new narrative both for his brand and for African fashion. Let's take a look.
I was scouted by a fashion agency last year, and this year I got the opportunity to showcase at Paris Fashion Week. I'm the first Zimbabwean designer to showcase at Paris Fashion Week.
And that wraps up Trust TV News Hour for tonight. For more news, you can subscribe to watch us live on YouTube and, of course, follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.